Hi there, this is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about Lectin lesson number 4, what elephants having heart attacks teaches us about cancer. Uh, Elephants having heart attacks, did you know that? Isn't that a surprising finding? Well, this is how it happens. Elephants share heart attacks with humans in part because they've changed their food. And see, their 200, 300, 500 years ago, their food was almost all leaves from forests. But as habitat has changed, they've been driven out into grassy areas. They're not used to grass, and when they eat grass, they get the lectins of grasses which bind to their arteries. Now, why do those lectins bind to arteries in elephants? Humans share a uncommon sugar with elephants and chickens and shellfish, and it's called NEU5AC. Now, every other animal makes NEU5GC. Now, these sugars are actually in the sialic acid family, which is just it's a very small little sugar. It's a 9 carbon fragment, but it's part of our signaling mechanism in our arteries and on many of our cells in our gut. And the net effect is that as we eat lectin-containing foods, they bind to those, particularly wheat. WGA from wheat binds to them quite avidly. And our body then sees that as a foreign antibody, or foreign antigen, and fires off and starts making antibodies against the foreign lectin, and then it makes antibodies against ourselves. So eating wheat and the lectins from wheat binding to our own NEU5AC then sets off antibody responses, and that's the beginning of coronary artery disease, is that immune response that infiltrates your blood vessels. Now, what does that have to do with cancer? Interestingly enough, NEU5GC is on many human cancers. Now, we don't make NEU5GC. We don't make it. It doesn't exist in our genetic code. It only comes from red meat. When we eat red meat, then cancer cells pick up that sialic acid and use it to coat themselves and hide from our immune system. Isn't that unique? So cancer cells are doing the same thing as our white cells that are getting this immune response. That suggests that red meat would be a problem for us. And sure enough, there's pretty good evidence about the more red meat you eat, the more cancer you get. There's probably other influences too. The tipping point of amino acids from red meat seems to tip us in that direction. But the lectin effect may be one of the driving engines for it. What will work for me? I'm trying to figure out how to eat less meat and shifting my diet away from that to more fat, because fat's good for me, and less lectin-containing foods. So each week I'm trying to make choices in discovering more lectin-free foods. And there's actually quite a few of them if you look around. This is Dr. Whitcomb finishing up Lectin lesson number 4, how elephants having heart attacks teaches us about cancer.